And a lot of people who are retired are going to find that their retirement has been cut short because they're not going to be able to pay the bills with their retirement income or savings because the bills are going to be too high in relation to what they've got. So a lot more people are going to be re-entering the workforce. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do, but they're going to have to do something. It's very likely that price controls will be imposed by the government. And when that happens, a lot of goods and services that are subject to those controls just disappear. They're no longer available to buy legally.
The American dream is cracking under the weight of its own illusion. Decades of reckless spending, endless money printing, and dependency on foreign imports have pushed the U.S. economy to the edge of a catastrophic collapse. Today, Peter Schiff exposes the hard truth. This isn't just a crisis. It's the reckoning of a nation living far beyond its means. Are we ready for what comes next? Watch now.
You know, the problem in the U.S. economy is that we're all living in this bubble, and Americans collectively don't produce anywhere near what they consume. And the difference is made up by imports. And so we are able to import more than $1 trillion a year of merchandise that we don't have the capacity to produce. And we don't really pay for it. We just create money and use that. But our trading partners, right, they what are they going to do with the dollars? They really can't do anything. They can just buy treasuries or buy, other dollar-denominated debt instruments. But they've been accumulating all these dollars, and we've gotten the benefit of all the stuff that they make. Well, I think what's going to happen is that we get a crisis where the world realizes that we're broke and we can't pay our bills. I mean, sure, we can print money, but that doesn't count because that just destroys the value. And I think our trading partners are going to start getting rid of their dollars. I think that process has already started. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that gold is 2,750. Central banks have been de-dollarizing quietly and slowly. I think the pace of that is going to pick up. But I think we're going to get a big drop in the dollar. That's going to also cause a big rise in long-term interest rates and consumer prices. And so that's going to impact Americans profoundly because it's going to dramatically increase the cost of living in the United States. Basically, this huge foreign subsidy is going to be removed, and Americans are going to have to get used to living within their means. And unfortunately, our means have been dramatically reduced over the decades, where we've shut down our factories and replaced them with, shopping centers or, whatever we've got. And so things are going to get very expensive, which means people aren't going to buy many things. Most of what people earn is going to go to food. It's going to go to the utility bills, healthcare. People aren't going to have money left over for to buy, not discretionary items, bigger ticket, items, travel, do other things. They're just going to be scraping by. It's just going to be pretty austere here as a result. And a lot of people who are retired are going to find that their retirement has been cut short because they're not going to be able to pay the bills with their retirement income or savings because the bills are going to be too high in relation to what they've got. So a lot more people are going to be re-entering the workforce. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do, but they're going to have to do something. One of the things I've been recommending for a long time for people that just, don't have a lot of extra cash, that are just barely, making ends meet, is to stock up on things, because the stuff that you need is just going to get more and more expensive every time you go to buy it. And eventually there's going to be shortages because they're going to have price controls. So things that are non-perishable, things that you're going to need in a year or two or three that aren't going to go bad, that will keep, you should just stock up on them now. That could be, deodorant, toothpaste, toilet paper, all kinds of things, medicines. Some of the medicines though have an expiration date, so you got to watch it, because you don't want to have stuff past its usefulness. But there are things that can keep. There are a lot of food products that will keep, that you can store, and that you'll have. You could also, if you have property, you could invest in seeds, or you could plant stuff and grow things. So try to be a little bit more self-sufficient if you can, because prices are going to get a lot higher.
So you think things are going to get so bad? Your bet is things are going to get so bad, it's wise to go into like prepper territory.
Yeah, I mean the prepper territory. I'm not so much prepping for like a war, which although that could happen, or where like it's a big natural disaster. It's just that if stuff's going to get more expensive, right? Right. If I could buy something now that if I wait a year and buy it, it's 20% more expensive. Why not just buy it now? That's like a 20% return on my money, right? Just go and buy the things in advance. But the other reason to do that is I think eventually the stores are just going to run out of stuff because more people are going to be hoarding stuff. Like I'm saying, when the prices really start to go up, people will be taking stuff off the shelves as soon as it's there. But also, if you look at how the government is vilifying business owners by accusing them of price gouging, it's very likely that price controls will be imposed by the government. And when that happens, a lot of goods and services that are subject to those controls just disappear. They're no longer available to buy legally. The only way you can buy them is on the black market, which is why I also say you should have some silver coins. Go to Schiff Gold and get some junk silver, because most likely if you have to become a criminal to buy, ordinary items, the criminal who's selling them to you is not going to take American Express or Visa. He's breaking the law, and he might not even want U.S. currency the rate at which it depreciates. So you got to, give him real money, which would be, silver coins or things like that. But if you got more money than that, once you've taken care of, having some emergency supplies, or again, it's not emergency, just stuff that, you're going to need anyway, right? But you got to make investments. You got to figure out where you're going to invest. Inflation destroys savers and paper assets. So if you have a lot of money in cash, in bonds, whether they're treasuries, muni bonds, corporate bonds, you've got a fixed annuity, you've got cash value in an insurance policy, all that stuff gets wiped out to inflation. You have to own real things, real assets, so real estate, stocks in companies that have real plant and equipment, real natural resources that they own, whether it's agriculture, minerals, oil and gas. I mean, things that the government's not printing, but that we have to buy, and the prices will go up. So I invest in companies all around the world that I think will do well in an inflationary environment. The owners of those assets will do well, especially outside the United States, because if I'm right on the dollar collapse relative to other currencies, just because Americans are too broke to buy stuff doesn't mean the factories producing that stuff stop producing it. Everything keeps being produced. It's just that they don't ship all the stuff to America anymore, which will save them all the cost of bringing the stuff over here and then bringing the ships home empty, which is what happens now. The ships come over from Asia and Europe full of stuff, and they go back empty because we got nothing to put on there. So they'll save all those shipping costs. The stuff will stay in Asia, it'll stay in Europe. And, people, I think, in the emerging markets will just start consuming what Americans can no longer afford.
The clock is ticking, and the financial storm is closer than ever. If you want to stay informed, prepared, and ahead of the curve, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon. Stay tuned. Your financial future depends on it.